and slim floor.
With so many vacuum cleaners on the market today, it can be really tough to choose which one is right for your home, particularly with all the different brands and models, and some can seem quite similar to others.
I'm Erin from Tech Gadgets Canada and Tech Gadgets International, and I recently got the opportunity to test out Tineco's Pure One S15 Essentials Smart Cordless Vacuum. And in this review, I'll give you an overview of what you get, show you how well it cleans, and I'll take a look at what differentiates this vacuum from another popular Tineco model, the Pure One Air Pet. I'll wrap things up by listing all the pros and the cons and telling you whether I think this vacuum is actually a good bet for you. An early heads up, if you end up liking this video and finding it helpful, to please hit that like button and consider becoming a subscriber. Both those things help me keep making more videos that I hope everyone out there can watch, enjoy, and learn from. And don't forget, if you want to read, reference, or share this video review topic, head over to techgadgetscanada.com for a full write-up.
Let's take a look at what's in the box. When it comes to the bigger pieces, there's the motor handle with the dustbin and a freestanding charging base. The smaller pieces include an anti-tangle motorized brush, a 2-in-1 dusting brush, an extension tube, crevice tool, and a hair cleaning tool. There's virtually no setup or assembly required. Just plug in the charging base and slide the vacuum into the small bracket to get it charging. The base will stand upright anywhere in your house, so there's no wall mounting needed. It just needs to be near an outlet. The base also has built-in holders for your brushes. When you're ready to vacuum, connect the extension hose and the accessory you want, then pull the trigger on the underside of the handle. The trigger locks the vacuum into the on position, which I actually really appreciate. Some trigger-style vacuums force you to constantly hold the trigger down while you're cleaning, but with this one, it's on until you turn it off.
Okay, so what is so special about the Tineco Pure One S15 Essentials?
This vacuum is what you could call a convertible cordless stick vacuum. That means you can use it with its extension tube to clean floors, or remove the extension to create a handheld vacuum, which is ideal for upholstery or for your car. With a good-sized dustbin, which is just under half a liter, there seems to be room for several cleanings, and the weight of the vacuum is about 7 pounds with the extension tube and motorized head attached.
What primarily sets Tineco's vacuum apart from some others is the so-called zero tangle technology, and this comes in handy when you're vacuuming up human hair, pet hair, or other longer fibers.
The vacuum uses a special tangle-free brush with V-shaped bristles and a type of comb on the inside that prevents hair from wrapping around the brush, which should help increase your vacuum's efficiency.
I might be jumping ahead a bit here, but I found this brush actually worked incredibly well at avoiding tangles.
I ran the vacuum for about a week before I flipped the brush head over to check. As you can see, there are no hairs whatsoever wrapped around this brush. This is in stark contrast for sure to most other motorized vacuum brush heads, where hair typically wraps tightly around these rotating brushes. With this one, all the hair and tangly bits just ends up in the dustbin.
All right, let's get to it. How well does the Tineco Pure One S15 Essentials clean? I used this vacuum for about 2 weeks in my home. I test out all my vacuums in the same way. I use them for regular daily cleaning and vacuuming of tracked-in dirt and pet hair, and I also set up some dedicated spills and tests on both carpet and hard floors to see how well it works.
I'll spill things like fine flour, rice, or oatmeal, as well as bigger cracker or biscuit pieces on both carpet and hard floors to see how well the vacuum picks each one up. With the S15 Essentials, it was easily able to handle almost every spill on both hard and soft flooring. The one caveat was it wasn't able to get larger cracker pieces up and into its bin quite as well with that motorized head. They seemed to instead just get trapped underneath it, but that is what those other tools are for. This vacuum can also be used almost completely flat to help clean underneath furniture and into tight spaces. The motorized brush head also has an LED light that helps you see where you're cleaning.
One of the cooler features of the Pure One S15 Essentials vacuum is the iLoop Smart Sensor, which Tineco says automatically analyzes a surface to detect how much dirt is there. The vacuum can then adjust its suction power based on the reading, and interpreting the sensor is as easy as it gets. A red light means a higher level of debris is being detected. Now, in the past, I've reviewed other Tineco vacuums that use this technology, but I've actually been quite disappointed with it. In my past experience with it, it seemed more random than purposeful, seemingly changing its light at will and not necessarily because I was using it to clean an extra dirty area. I'm happy to report, though, that for the first time, I've actually seen this technology working with this vacuum.
In particular, when I was cleaning higher traffic or dirtier areas, I noticed the light changing to red, and I could actually hear the suction power of the vacuum increasing.
Another nice feature of this vacuum is the contactless dustbin. In this version, you do need to hit the release button here on the base of the dustbin. Then you can use the lever, which is over here, to push any wound up dirt or hair free of the filter.
Other dustbins, including the Pure One Air Pet, which I reviewed, can get debris stuck and tangled inside them if you don't empty them very often. But the dustbin on the S15 Essentials is designed to scrape all the contents out and into the trash. Overall, it saves you a mess and means you don't need to get your hands dirty. I really appreciate this trigger feature, which you often only see on higher-end vacuums like Dyson.
Let's talk battery life. Getting the battery on this fully charged up takes about 5.5 hours. This is a little on the long side, and when you're running it in auto mode, the total runtime should be about 40 minutes on a full charge. If you're using max power, the runtime is going to drop to just 10 minutes. Well, the 40 minutes should be more than enough for a bigger space or for a few cleans. That shorter life in high power might be one of the bigger concerns about this vacuum. Getting 10 minutes of runtime from half a day of charging doesn't really sound like a particularly good trade-off. To overcome the continuing issue of short battery lives on many cordless vacuums in general, you could buy a backup battery, and you can do that here with this vacuum. That should help you extend the amount of time you can vacuum in one cleaning. But spending extra on swappable batteries just to be able to clean your whole house, again, seems like a bit of a stretch. One other way I guess you could look at it is because the vacuum should be living on its charging base, it should be always charged up anytime you need to use it, so a shorter battery life might become less of a concern.
How does the Pure One Essentials S15 on the right compare to something like the Pure One Air Pet on the left?
I had the opportunity to try both the Tineco Pure One Essentials S15 and the Pure One Air Pet. If you happen to be comparing the Essentials S line to the Air line, there's a handful of differences that might affect your decision. Here's what I learned.
In short, the Air line is designed to be lighter than the Essentials S line. The S line is made for larger spaces, while Air models are made for smaller ones. The Essentials S line typically has a larger battery and longer runtime than Air models. The S line's dustbin is also usually larger, and it features the iLoop dirt sensor, while the Air doesn't have that. Suction power on both is the same on each model, and that's about 16,000 pascals. Air models are also designed to cost less.
In my testing of both of these vacuums, I can confirm that the Air Pet vacuum I tried is substantially lighter than the S15 Essentials over here. If you're going to be carrying your stick vac up and down a lot of stairs or moving around with it constantly, you might actually prefer the lighter Air model. For the most part, I didn't find the difference in battery life to be a huge issue, mainly because since I store my vacuums on their charging base, I always get started with a full battery. While the iLoop sensor is a novelty, it's not essential to your vacuuming. The slightly larger dustbin on the S15 Essentials line is also a bit more convenient, as is the point-and-shoot contactless dustbin. Which of these vacuums is right for you and your space will largely come down to your personal preferences and your budget.
Overall, the Tineco Pure One S15 Essentials is an extremely capable vacuum. It was able to tackle all of the cleaning tasks I needed in my home and did a really good job in the tests I threw at it.
While this model is a bit heavier than the Air series, it was easy enough to use around my house. When used as a handheld vacuum here, this additional weight is certainly more noticeable, but I find those handheld vacuuming tasks are usually short-lived enough so the weight shouldn't become a huge problem. The larger dustbin here is convenient and means less frequent emptying, and the point-and-shoot trigger for clearing it out means my hands never have to get dirty. I also found that the vacuum is a good balance of power and quieter operation. All right, what are the downsides? I suppose the biggest downside of this vacuum for some users would be its 7-pound weight, which might make you less inclined to want to lug it around. I think the bigger concern though is that if you want to use this vacuum on full power, it will really only run for about 10 minutes on a single charge. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, if you run it on regular power, which for me worked well for 95% of my daily cleaning tasks, you do get 40 minutes out of the battery, which in my opinion is quite reasonable. Those concerns aside, I think the Tineco Pure One S15 Essentials is a solid vacuum and an effective cleaner, and I can definitely recommend it for you. You can get this vacuum for about $399 US. If you want to check out what paying a lot more will get you for a premium stick vacuum, you can check out my review of Dyson's option, or watch the full review of the Pure One Air Pet Vacuum from Tineco right now.